You think some of your ranked silver comps are weird? Well, you got nothing on M80 because here is their Lotus comp. Playing triple Sentinel, Sage and Deadlock, and a Cypher just to add in there as well. So what on earth is going on and how does this comp work? Well, we're going to take a look at a game that they did actually lose, but it was 16-14. And what's surprising to probably most of you is that they actually struggled on their defense side. They actually lost 9-3 on their defensive side and pulled it back on the attack. So how on earth is that happening playing triple Sentinel? Well, let's dive into this game and we'll start here with round number 3. They are on the defensive side here, M80. And this is going to be, you know, a kind of normal setup for them, right? We've got one player out towards B early on, 2 towards C, 2 towards A. I mean, you look at all the stuff that's on this A site, it's kind of crazy just here. But we're not playing a kind of, you know, typical Lotus defense, right? And of course we're not, because, you know, most of the time you see people, you know, they aggro towards A, they try and take some control either towards A or towards C. But we see here for M80 very early on that they're very passive, right? As you might expect, they're playing triple Sentinel. But this is where you can get problems, because this means, you know, at any point particularly, you know, if they did a B hit now, there's only one guy there to, you know, their util has to be able to stop them, right? Same is true on C. Rotates are not coming anytime soon here, right? This guy has to be able to stop them coming in. And I think this is a good example of kind of, you know, where some of their rotates, I think, also sometimes go a bit askew with the setup that they've got, because we end up in this spot just here. And this round could have gone worse for them. You're going to see, keep your eye on Koala Noob here and BCJ, right? So our Fade and our Sage just in here. See, we've got a Cypher camera up here already, so we don't really need... I mean, when you've got so much util here on this A site, you don't really need these guys to really come across here as much as they have. Maybe one of them can, but when we've got a camera that can tell you if they're, you know, probably crossing towards stairs anyway, and then you've got so much utility and 2 players on the A site, you don't really need to be there to help them too much. If they can't hold it down with all that, then that's their problem, not really your problem if you're these other players. But Koala Noob does sneak back in onto the B site and does manage to get his Sage wall up just here outside B as well, and there's only 42 seconds left in the round. So that's a really, really good Sage wall. But you're going to see we still just about managed to get caught off here when they're actually coming into the site, Oxygen. And now what you're about to see is one of the most crazy things I think I've seen in a pro game, honestly. I have never seen this happen before.
Gosh, the timing of this is crazy too, because now Koala has actually walled off Mitch, and this leads for opportunity, right? Mitch now making noise and showing that there might be an execution leading into here. Perfect, though. Already smoke comes up, and it does leave them with absolutely nothing to work with. Now with BCJ especially being caught in that ult.
Perfect from Dapper. Immediately the value finding all those kills on the previous round found a BCJ. What a timing.
Dude, huge eruption too, because now Koala Noob just really reels that back in. So now you got that possible one round. Does lead way, though they still do have that post plant. So the opportunity here, big off Scuba, wall.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. I've seen things like it, but not for it to actually get value, right? So BCJ, he's getting spammed here a bit, so it gets weakened. So basically, they weaken it at this point, and then just as he's about to die, you can just see that Koala here, he's coming back in here. And then just as he's about to die, he spams him again, frees him, and, you know, obviously, Oxygen, they're like, well, he's dead. Right, they're already, you know, planting on the util and stuff, and then there he is, just, you know, a traitor amongst us, and you know, they managed to clean up there. But I think that this goes to show, you know, some of the problems had BCJ died there and not being able to get those 2 kills. They don't have a ton of util to get back in onto the site, and you can see how it can be difficult if you don't get that util timing right and you don't end up rotating to the right spot. You are guessing somewhat, it's still going to be tricky. Round 11 here is another good example of what is going on here, because just take a look at this round, and what you're going to see is we're going to take C control here, and we're going to walk out A with our Omen as well. And so for Oxygen here, they take both C and A control, right, very early on, and that makes it really, really tough for M80 here in knowing, well, what way are they going to go. And we're actually going to end on the B site here, right? So again, we've taken A control here, we've taken some C control early, and we're actually going to end up and come and do a B split in the end here, right? So that's where it can get really, really tough if you are M80, because again, you are relying on whoever is on the site, like their util, you have to be able to stop them getting in, because you don't have that retake util, right? And you see that they don't really know where to rotate, they don't really know where to go. And it becomes very tough. So even when you're playing triple sentinel, this style of defense on Lotus, where you don't really take too much space, you don't try and, you know, take too much control, is still really tough, as you're about to see.
Broken door. Everybody's just trying to find a way in, and Redux just forces it out of the way. It's the same thing it's always been, right? Just apply that pressure, know that Redux is moving in, and M80, they just don't want to hold the site. They constantly leave it down to the retake, and that's where Oxygen seems to thrive. Yeah, that's...
Absolutely. I mean, also just Redux so impressive on the entries right now.
Pretty much. All he has to do is hold it. He hits the shots every single time. Very, very comfortable on the race, for sure. But with that being said, they're not looking to move in anytime soon. Now, finally, double the shot, and Mitch just not cleared up.
And as you see there towards the end, once you get into this spot and you've lost the site and it's a 5v4, the round is practically over. Right? The round is practically over because what util do we have to get back in here? We got a bit of fade util. We actually used our armor flash this round, but that's it. Right, like that's all we've got for a retake. So once we're in this spot, the round is just over, right? There's just no way we can win this round. Yeah, we can throw slows down and whatnot, but the crossfires are still going to be there. There's nothing impacting people, and that is why they struggled so much on this defensive side. But then they did manage to get this game to overtime. So how on earth did that happen? Well, let's take a look at their attacking pistol round here. Because now kind of some of those things that we were just saying, the inverse becomes true, right? Now everyone else, you know, now they have to defend 3 sites. And the kind of inverse is true where if we get the spike down with this comp triple sentinel, it's over, right? It's over against this comp, right? With both walls, you know, with Cypher trips maybe coming in, you know, Omen one ways, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's over. If the spike gets down, you lose, right? You just lose. Your retake success against this comp is never going to be very high at any point. And Lotus is a tough map to actually stop people getting the spike down, particularly this B site, which is exactly what they do. So if you've been following this round, you will have seen we come towards C, we come towards A, and actually we're going to end on B. And this is the thing, right? Again, we can start pressuring different parts of the map, and it becomes very difficult for Oxygen now to know exactly what M80 are going to do, right? Yeah, we put a deep deadlock wall in here, but there's still enough time where they could wait that out and do a late C hit if they want to, right? You look at where we are here for Oxygen, they're quite passive in this round, and that is not where you want to be, because now we're going to come and do a B exec, and just look at the util. Look at the util that they're going to put up in this post plan, and tell me that anyone has any chance on this pistol round.
Oh, but B...
30 seconds
seems
left.
to be the way, man, and the smoke comes in right when Mitch decides to take some way out, and the Gravnet now making some issue. So they have this pretty flawlessly. M80 good for the taking. Now we do get to see that Sage Wall in action now.
Yeah, and this is where retaking will now be a nightmare for the Oxygen side. Wasting time breaking walls, running into sonic sensors. Not going to be fun.
Oh, but they're prepped so well, and that's gotta hurt so much damage, but they still don't do anything about it. It's right clicks across the board from M80, and a huge win. Might just be able to get taken away. But now Scuba's stuck in a 1v3. Chances of this happening are slim, especially with 21 health. It's like every shot needs to connect, and we've seen it before. This time, I mean, I guess luck isn't necessarily on his.
Yeah, good luck on a pistol when the spike is getting planted B, and there's a Sage Wall here and a deadlock wall there. You're just not going to win. And then finally, let's finish here with round number 19. And you might think, well, okay, I'm looking at this comp and I'm seeing some big weaknesses, right? Like, how do they deal with an operator, right? And that's what Oxygen did. They went and bought an op, right? They don't have a ton of util to find me. Okay, they got a bit of fade stuff. They got, you know, an Omen flash, you know, some smokes. But there isn't a ton there, you know, for them to actually do and kind of deal with an operator if it is there in general. So that's what I'm going to do, right? But the thing is, M80, they also buy their own op as well, right? Which is a good way of potentially punishing, you know, some of the setups that they might run into some of these rounds. But again, sometimes I feel like, you know, you can run into some setups that maybe aren't the best for you, right? So we see the Cypher Cam down here. It does see the op, right? And they still are able to take A control. And this is where I think Oxygen, and in the game before that M80 played with this comp, they played against TSM, and TSM did a lot of the same stuff, where I think they were a little too passive overall towards A. I think they really needed to aggress on a bit more, in my opinion, but they didn't. So, you know, it is what it is, and M80 were able to take the benefits from that, because again, here in this round, you know, we take early A control, we kind of, you know, threaten that we're coming towards A. Then we come out towards C, as you can see just now, right? And we really threaten here out towards C. They're going to manage to get a spam kill here on Verno as well, right? And then we're going to do what we did on a lot of these rounds, which is now we're going to pivot back to B, because again, often what's going to happen in these rounds, if we've kind of taken some early A control and threatened this, and then we're pushing you back on C, you know, you're going to be doing this, right? You're going to be, you know, rotating towards C, and then if we pressure back towards A, you're going to run towards A. But then if we just end B, we know that our post plant is always going to be good.
Oxygen can feel the pressure of a potential C hit. Mitch has worked up really close. This is a good position from him.
30 seconds left.
Oh,
And they just end.
should have been able to find the first.
That hurts. No way in, especially for Oxygen now. It's just gonna get harder and harder, especially with the op now coming through. But Redux, he does find secondary position, just looking to clear. To maybe make some way, but yeah, plant down. And possibility for a save. I believe this is what they're actually heading for instead.
So there you have it, a triple Sentinel comp that is attack-sided. Sounds bizarre, but that's the way it plays out here on Lotus.